battlefield in today's journey unfolds like a vivid film, where every passing moment is as taut as a drawn bowstring. Bold ambushes, heart-pounding confrontations, this is no ordinary hunt. It's a battle to reclaim the harvest and restore peace to humble farming communities. The question remains, do these marksmen have the courage and precision to stop the beast before it unleashes further havoc? Stay with us, some of the most gripping moments lie ahead. From the very first moment, the tension was shattered by a sharp, decisive gunshot. In the dense forest along the slopes of Mount Texas, Jackson, a seasoned hunter from Tanzania, had taken position before sunrise. Amid the thin morning mist, a rustle sounded from the bushes. 3 wild boars cautiously emerged, their movements wary but instinctive. Without hesitation, Jackson aimed and fired. The gunshot echoed through the forest. The animal dropped instantly, a perfectly executed ambush at what would later be known as Jackson 2. Not far away, on the fringes of the Houston wilderness, Elias's team had just reached their designated spot. Riding an old rugged ATV, they maneuvered over rocky paths toward an opposing hillside. Quickly, they took cover behind a large boulder and watched patiently. Then, from the opposite slope, a figure appeared. A large wild boar was digging into the earth, unaware that it had entered the crosshairs. The team's youngest sharpshooter, Leon, pulled the trigger without a moment's hesitation. Cool, calculated shots rang out. The beast tumbled down the slope. In Welder, where rolling hills provide open sight lines, patience becomes the true test for any hunter. Tomasz, a veteran from Poland, moved quietly along the hillside, binoculars in hand, his steps light as shadow. He knew the wild boars here, intelligent, alert, and unpredictable. Suddenly, a dark shape emerged in the midst of the dog's encirclement. Remaining silent, Tomasz calmly raised his rifle. Unflinching, he fired. The first bullet closed the distance. With each breath, his follow-up shots found their mark. The wild boar could no longer flee. A cold, calculated takedown, flawless and unshaken. Back in the tall grass surrounding Sierra Nevada forest, Javier had led his team to encircle a vast field long before dawn. The hounds picked up even the faintest traces. Soon, a sharp bark rang out, a signal the prey had been located. Marksmen snapped into position, eyes locked forward. Suddenly, a wild boar burst from the bushes. Javier pulled the trigger. A composed, razor-sharp shot. Everything unfolded in a heartbeat. As twilight faded over Horde Begi, the ambush across the rice field reached its most intense moment. Arthur and his team had sealed off the entire area, leaving no room for escape. Frenzied barking erupted near one of the checkpoints. A hunter rushed over, his gaze sweeping swiftly through rustling stalks of corn. And then, it appeared. A massive wild boar, charging like a bullet through a narrow gap, desperately trying to flee to the next field. But it was too late. The final shot rang out, ending the high-stakes pursuit. This wasn't just another day in the woods, it was a symphony of seamless coordination between man and nature, where skill meets instinct, all in pursuit of a single purpose, to protect the harvest and preserve the balance of these wild lands. Recently, city officials have received a wave of reports about wild boars storming into residential areas, causing chaos and posing a serious threat to public safety. Incidents like these have never happened before. These animals usually stick to the outskirts, destroying crops in rural areas and rarely dare to venture into urban zones. But now, their sudden and reckless behavior has put the entire city on high alert. And that's why we were called in a team of professional hunters mobilized for an emergency hunt. We identified a mountainous forest surrounding the farmlands as a potential hiding place for the boar herd. The terrain was rough, with limited visibility, making target detection far from easy. But this time, we had an advantage, a pack of battle-hardened hunting dogs. As soon as the first bark echoed through the woods, we split up and moved into ambush positions from multiple directions. Then the gunfire began. Each of us, from different positions, managed to take down one wild boar. Gunshots echoed through the forest. The smell of gunpowder blended with the painful squeals of wounded boars. The whole scene looked no different from an actual battlefield. A few initial targets were eliminated, but the rest of the herd wouldn't go down that easily. The hunt wasn't over. Many more targets were still on the run, and we had to move fast if we wanted to bring down as many as possible. While scouting the area, a massive wild boar suddenly burst out from the bushes. The situation escalated in a flash, but I stayed calm, aimed precisely, and pulled the trigger. The entire forest now felt like a broken-up herd, wild boars scattered everywhere from large groups to lone runners. But no matter how fast they were, our hunting dogs never gave up the chase, and neither did we. The target sprinted in panic, but there was no escape. I held my breath, didn't hesitate, and pulled the trigger. The shot hit. There was no time to rest. We kept moving, scanning the area for more targets. Suddenly, the dogs barked loudly. We quickly moved in and waited. The wild boar tried to attack, but was taken down immediately. Everything went smoothly, just as planned. From my ambush position, I took down several more targets. But the final shot startled the wild boar, sending it into a panic as it fled. They tried to hide, but the dogs wouldn't give up, neither would we. We weren't going to let a single one escape. After all the damage these wild boars had caused, we were determined to show no mercy. We did everything we could, setting traps, chasing them down, and taking out even the smallest ones. Just when we thought it was all over, on our way back, a wild boar with thick black fur suddenly darted across the front of the vehicle as if daring us. Without hesitation, we raised our rifles and aimed quickly. It tried to flee, but I was faster. A gunshot rang out, and the beast went down, massive, like a dinosaur. On the other side of the hill, our teammates were also engaging another herd of wild boars. They identified their targets, raised their scopes, and opened fire, causing one of the boars to stagger. Before the hunt came to an end, they managed to take down a few more. The thrill of the hunt is real, but behind it lies a very real danger. These wild boars no longer just destroy crops, they now threaten human lives by invading cities. That's the end of today's video. Did this hunt get your heart racing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more intense hunts to come. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next wild adventure.